that I had previously made in October. I think the fact that our citizens and our students don't really know the niceties of the American Constitution is still consistent with my position that local government is best suited to deal with local issues. And this issue is being litigated in the federal courts. It was passed by our federal legislative bodies, not by the city council or by the state delegation. So if the process of dealing with these issues of the constitutionality of the act can't be resolved any other place, I frankly said at the committee meeting, I may actually wait and see if we need to go through this again, because I have concerns about how this is going to be impacting directly the citizens of the city of Worcester, and since there is no direct impact right now, and because it's being litigated, and because it's a federal issue, we as a city council ought to deal with local issues. That's what we're empowered to do, that's our jurisdiction. And the few times that we've gone beyond that line have been very contentious and tumultuous. And I don't know that anybody wants to go through the process of being detoured as to what our limited function is, although that limited function is a very broad one as it affects the lives of the residents and taxpayers in the city. So I wanted to be clear that the statements and my position, I think, are very compatible.
No, they're not.
Councilor Gabbard.
Mr. Mayor, I actually understand Councilor Lutz's position concerning it. We've gotten embroiled in other arguments such as boycotting Arizona in the past. I hate to see that happen again, but I've got to be honest with you. I've got to support Congressman McGovern's position on this, particularly his letter over to Oxford, and would ask that this matter not be filed. So I'd be no. Thank you.
Councilor Berger.
These moral issues are difficult because we may feel one way morally, and we do take oaths. One of the oaths that I think gets overlooked is our oath to uphold our council obligations as well. Rule 33 of the council manual, as I read it, seems to prohibit us from engaging in taking actions on these types of issues. That doesn't mean I can't support it or don't support what many of the people that are here are saying. But once we open the door to start taking on issues that are outside of our jurisdiction, I don't know where it ends. I would also say that the Patriot Act is something that offends me greatly. I don't see people coming here from Worcester and the surrounding towns asking us to take a position on the Patriot Act. Each of our phones are probably being listened into on a regular basis. And that affects us in a much more direct way, perhaps, than the particular act that's being questioned right now. So it's a question of whether we have jurisdiction. I read Rule 33 as clearly in my mind, and I know there are others here, that does not give us the jurisdiction to take on these federal matters. I encourage everybody that's here to talk to your congresspersons. And I know Congressman McGovern's supportive of what's being proposed. And on a personal level, I am as well. But I do take multiple oaths, including the oath to uphold the Constitution, state, federal, and local. And the local oath that I took, I think, in my opinion, prohibits me from taking action with respect to this issue because of Rule 33. I know there's a broad scope to Rule 33. I know some people can stretch it. Councilor Lutz, I think, brings up a good point. How far do you stretch it? And also, as a practical matter, what does our vote here do today? I think I would be impacted more on thinking about whether or not we could stretch this farther if our vote here today could actually end the abuses that are often taking place with the arrest of people without probable cause. As a practicing attorney, I get it, and I do defense work, so I really get it. And I have family that suffered under regimes that don't follow constitutions and respect human rights and human dignity. But I also think we're going far afield if we take on these types of issues. And respectfully, although I support what's being presented here today, my oath as a city councilor under Rule 33 prevents me from supporting it at this level.
Okay, Councilor Ruffin. Mr. Chair, as in the past, I'm going to suggest what I have. As a body, I agree with Councilor Bergman. However, we all have the ability to be able to send our own thoughts to our legislature, to our member of Congress, and our senator, and I would recommend that those who feel strongly do so individually. As a body, I do agree with Councilor Bergman. We've had this type of issue before us a number of times, and we need to focus on what's impacting us locally here in the city. And
This is
so,
going to impact you
if
huge.
folks feel strongly about this, they should send a letter on their own. As a body, I think it's something that we need to focus more on, making sure that we're providing good schools, safety, and good streets, and all the other things that were economic development, all those things that we need to do in our city. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Gaffney?
Again, I'm going to say that I do appreciate and understand the comments of Councilor Lukes, Councilor Bergman, as well as Councilor Toomey. However, my reading of Rule 33, the city clerk, with the assistance of the city solicitor shall determine when an item is not appropriate for placement on the city council agenda. Therefore, I think it would be to the city clerk and city solicitor who made that determination. It's now on the agenda. The vote is should be a yes or no. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Russell?
Mr. Chairman, just as a point of information, at the meeting and before the meeting, we did receive a report from the city solicitor. And I asked him a question point blank at the meeting, do we have any authority whatsoever on this item? And the answer was no. I also want to just respond to a comment that was made earlier about the posting of the meeting. Our meeting was never ever scheduled for a Wednesday. I think the resident confused our meeting with one of the other meetings, maybe the Public Works meeting or some other meeting that was scheduled for a Wednesday. But the Rules Committee was always scheduled for the time it happened. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I couldn't agree more with Councilor Bergman to me, and I think it's probably is against the rules as the solicitor has stated, so we will, doesn't mean I don't agree with Jim McGovern, and there's probably no bigger support of myself when it comes to him, so I will do a roll call on this. So, we will, the recommendation is to place on file, a yes vote to put it on file, and a no vote or not to place it on file. Correct. Okay. Councilor Bergman? Yes. Councilor O'Connell?
Yes.
Gaffney?
No.
Lukes?
Yes.
Palmieri?
Yes.
Rosen?
Yes.
Rushton? Russell?
Yes.
Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty? Yes. Okay, we have